observations about what the learning of what grammar. Okay. So number one, learners do not learn constructions one at a time. Okay. First, definite article, then past tense, then past perfect. After learning past perfect, students can still make errors in the past tense. Learning is a great gradual process involving the mapping of form, meaning, and use. Okay. So what is the observation that learners do not learn construction one at a time? Yeah. So let's say, okay, you will try to teach them like one tense, okay, and then another tense or form, and then the third one, okay. But still, for example, if you go back and ask them for the first one, sometimes they might make errors, and that's natural, okay. So you have to think about that when you you plan your curriculum or your lessons, okay, or activities. You have to think about that. Maybe you'll do what revisions, yeah, okay. The second observation is like even when learners appear to have mastered, okay, a particular construction, it is not uncommon to find new errors being made, okay. So a learner who mastered the third person singular as the S may overgeneralize the rule and apply it to newly emerging modern verbs. She can speak Spanish, okay. So teachers have to recognize that learning grammar is not simply adding new knowledge to an unchanging system. It involves changing the system. Okay. So we have to think as a teacher that even when learners appear to have mastered, so you have some students, you think that they mastered whatever you are teaching them, yeah? They are good at it, okay? But maybe after a while, they might think, like for here, the example, she can, yeah? The right is what? She can, yeah? But because they think the S, yeah, like she plays, she eats, yeah? So what? They generalize to others, and that in that area they made some errors, okay. So we have to think about that, and sometimes you have to teach them about like regular verbs, irregular verbs, how you add the s and all that, okay. Okay. So number 3, language learners rely on the knowledge and the experience they already have, okay. So they rely in their experiences, okay. So beginning learners rely on their first language to hypothesize about how the new language works. Advanced learners rely on the second language to hypothesize about how the new construction works. Teacher can build on what the student already knows. Okay. So the observation that language learners rely on the knowledge and experience they already have. For example, let's say now my first language is what?
Arabic.
Always Arabic. Second?
English.
Do you have any third? I know, like for you.
Is it counted if I don't speak it? I don't speak it. I understand it, that's it.
But it's part of the process of your learning, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, do you feel like sometimes you, as here mentioned, okay, if you have your first language, second language, usually you you think if you want to apply any kind of like grammar structures, you rely on the first language, yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have the third language, sometimes you rely on the second language, yeah? Like, for example, me now, I'm learning, it's like the learning process, okay? I'm learning Spanish, yeah? So what I do, because I know Spanish, it's more like, it's more to the English than the Arabic, yeah? So what I do, like, I try to connect it with what? With the English, the second language, not the first language, okay? So that's what happens. So as a teacher, you have to think, okay, how can you do this, okay? Because sometimes, maybe here we cannot see it, but I mean in more international context, like in Dubai, we have many nationalities and students from different nationalities. So you have to think like, what languages maybe is easier for them to rely on. Is it their second language, third language, and which language, yeah? And especially if you know the language, yeah? And that's the reason, for example, sometimes what they do, like for example, we have like, teachers, but their first language is Arabic, yeah? So now they are bringing what? Sometimes?
Foreigners. People with first language.
Their first language is English, or let's say from India, or yeah? Especially if the students are what? From India or from, let's say, Spain or other countries, yeah? Because they want someone to help and support them. Even if the main teacher doesn't know their original languages, okay? Their first languages, mother tongue, okay? So you have to think about that, okay? Like I'll give you an example. I remember when I was studying my postdoc in Spain, I have one of my colleagues, she's from Oman. So she's studying her master and doctoral study in Spain. So to study that, but her major is English. But to study the graduate studies, she has to what? To learn the Spanish. Yeah. So what she told me that sometimes when she writing, she confused between English and Spanish. Yeah. And it's like it's funny because when I went to now I go to Malaysia many times. Malaysia, yeah, Malaysia, yeah, okay. So I noticed like the way they write some of the shop's title and all that. It's like the word soup, for example. The way of writing is a little bit different. It's not English. Okay, like the word soup, how we write it, S-O-U-P. So the way they write it, S-U-P. Okay, so I'm thinking like I don't know what language they are using. Is it that related to their like language mixing with the English or what? Okay?